Hello guys, and welcome to today's show. This week we're traveling to Lake Norman in North Carolina, just outside of Morrisville, North Carolina, and we're going to do some, what we intended on doing was we headed down to go do some crappie fishing, and it just didn't seem to work out that way. I fished for several hours for crappie, tried to find them, tried to locate them. And guys, I think somebody caught them all out because I couldn't get on any crappie whatsoever. I caught brim, and then all of a sudden the spotted bass bite picked up, and they just seemed to like what I was throwing for bait, trying to catch crappie. And what I used was a little 2.5-inch swim bait, and I thought that these would be the ideal things to use for crappie this time of year, and it just wasn't so that day. So what I ended up doing, basically I didn't bring anything but my crappie fishing gear. So what I ended up doing was I ended up taking and switching over and using my ultralight rod that I had and these small swim baits to catch spotted bass. And it worked out real good because, guys, using this technique and matching the hatch with that little 2.5-inch swim bait, white one is what they were targeting, because they were targeting shad that day. Guys, I caught spotted bass all day long. Now granted, I'm embarrassed to show you some of them I caught because they weren't very big at all, but you know what? I went out there and I had a good day. I was able to turn a bad day into not catching a species I went after to catching something else. So I hope you enjoyed this show here, and we're going to go ahead and watch it. I'm going to show you some of the tips and some of the techniques here that I used on Lake Norman the other day fishing for spotted bass.
This week's Carolina Outdoor Adventures TV is brought to you in part by Camelback Hydration Systems. Do you have a camel on your back? By Bolé Sportswear and Sunglasses. By Buckbuster Scents, scents for the serious hunter. By Humminbird Depth Finders. Only Humminbird gives you the detail. And also by CVA. It's just a better gun.
There he is, there he is, there he is. Don't know what it is. We got something going there. Looks like we got a little bass. Better, pretty light line here. I'm only using 8-pound cast. I guess I better loosen up on the drag. It looks like a little spot. Oh, yeah. Come on. Come on up here, boy. Oh, there we go. Yeah. A little spotted bass. Starting the morning off here. Well, here trying to crappie fish, but I guess we're going to bass fish for a little bit. But I don't know if I could catch much more of a bass on a rod like this or not, but that's the jig I'm using there. It's one of our jigs. Let me put him back in, but that's what a small spotted bass looks like. Let me put him back in. I'll show you my bait I got here. And we're out here crappie fishing today, and what we're doing is I'm throwing some different jigs and a variety of different things to see, make sure that trolling motor hose is there, to try to catch some crappie. And that's what I'm throwing. It's a little minnow, imitation minnow swim bait's what it is. And they're very small, and it's a new one that we have at Carolina Outdoor Hunting and Fishing Supply. And you just tip them with a lead head. They come with a hook on them, but for crappie fishing and white perch, I don't like them big hooks that we have on them things. So I usually put a lead head on there like that. And that there's a, I think that's a 1/32 ounce lead head on there with a gold hook. And then that makes it act really natural in the water, and they're a real good bait. They work really good. We'll see if we can't catch a few more. I'd like to catch some crappie on them, but we'll see what happens. We'll try a few more. Looks like a little spot. Went ballistic on me. Whoa, now he's fighting. Went ballistic on me. Come on up here, little boy. Ain't you mean? Oh, there he goes. I'll tell you what, them little spots, even them little ones, they can get really mean. They're just a real aggressive fish. They just fight, fight, fight. Even a small one like that little fish right there couldn't have been more than 3/4 or maybe a pound. Boy, he was a fighter. Especially on a little light rod. How would you get him jumping?
I don't really know.
You probably know, you wouldn't tell me.
That's probably right.
Not gonna hurt your babies. There's another one. Man, they're gobbling up that white paddle tail swim bait I got on. That's a little bit bigger fish right here. Another one. Come on. Well, we're just going to catch spots all day. You suppose he wants that fish? Not very big, that's for sure, but he's fun catching. It's all right. Ain't nobody going to bother your nest. Don't worry. Good fish, too. Oh, boy. It's going to be a good spot. Whoa, come on. Don't break off. Please, please don't break off. I want to be able to show folks what we got here. I'm going to take my time trying to catch him, everybody. Oh, he just threw off my bait. So I'm not going to be able to show you my bait, but that's a nice big largemouth or a spot. That's what it is. There he comes. Boy, he's a fighter too. Still can't tell you what he is yet. A little ultralight, that's a spot. Yeah. Come on up here. There we go. Now he didn't throw my bait off. What it was, I saw in the water when I seen him hit. What it was, he spit out a shad down there, and he ain't got anything in his mouth, but that's a spot. Boy, what a pretty fish. I don't know if you can see him very good or not, But what a pretty fish that is right there. He is full of spots. You look at it, look at that fish up and down his back. I don't believe I've ever seen one like that, but he's not a big fish, maybe 2.5, maybe 3 pounds, but I'll tell you what though, it's a lot of fun. If I get this thing untangled around my tackle here. There we go. Catching something like that on these ultralight rigs. I mean, I only got 8-pound test line, so anything much bigger than that, he's going to get away. But that was a lot of fun. Go out there and catch something like that on ultralights. It'd be a lot of fun. If I had a little bit bigger swim bait right now, and if I had a little bit bigger gear, if I'd come out planning on fishing for these fish, probably would have been catching a whole lot bigger ones, but getting up there in size a little bit. There he is right there. Another spot. Ate that swim bait up. We're going to keep throwing that until they stop hitting. But anyhow, I'm not going to complain. The water is so clear here that what I did is I let it settle down. When I seen it come over the top of that tree, I just let it settle down a little bit because it drops off quick, and it settled down in that tree, and when it did, he come up out of that tree and grabbed it. So, you know, we're not catching tournament quality fish, but if I was tournament fishing, I'd be doing the same thing with heavy equipment. And I guess this is a good way to learn to be productive tournament fishing. Go out with small gear like this and practice at it. But you know, just throw your rod out, throw your line out, your bait out there, and I like to throw around trees. Yeah, you're going to get hung up. Yes, you're going to lose some bait, but I like to throw around trees and pull my bait through them, and when I get to the end, just kind of let them drop down in it just a little bit. And usually if there's a largemouth or smallmouth or all these spots, Lake Norman is full of these spots now, they'll come out of there and they'll grab that bait. Darn it, what is that? There's another small spot. I'll be darned. Heck yeah. We'll take him. We'll take him. Yeah, he's spitting up something here, folks. I don't know what it is, but I suspect it's probably shad, just about that size. You can see it here. You can see it here on my shirt. I would say it's probably shad's what it is, but I don't see anything in there that I can show you. But another small spot. Look at the bottom of his tail. It's almost like he's been fanning the bed down there, but gosh, the water temperature is almost 76 degrees, and I know darn well they're done spawned out, but he could be a late spawner, I guess. I'm going to reset here a little bit. We started out wanting to come out and fish for crappie, and I'd used some crappie jigs, and they weren't taking them. So what I did, guys, is I switched over and put one of these small swim baits that we have. And you can see, compared to a big, large bass swim bait, that's all it is right there. And I get it tipped with a 1/32 ounce jig head. And I thought maybe the crappie would take that. Well, what's happening now is I'm starting to get spots to bite. So we're going to continue with the spot bite and see if we can't boat a few more fish. You know, if they're what wants to bite, that's what I'm going to catch. I'm just out here today to catch fish, and we're versatile, so we can switch over. But I'll tell you, I've just got a small light action rod. This is a small Shakespeare ultralight reel, 4.5 foot, 5 foot light action rod, and it's a lot of fun catching them 2 and 3 or 4 pound spots on something like this. So just kind of be versatile, you know, when you go out fishing. You may not always go out and catch the type fish you want to catch, but if you just want to go out and have a good day, switch over. Use some small stuff like that to catch bass. It just seems like the spots here are just hammering away at this little small white swim bait. Am I going to change colors? Probably not. I'm afraid if I'm going to change colors, I won't catch fish. So I'm going to stay with that white one for a while. That last one I caught, he spit up something white in the water, and I thought he threw off my bait, but what he actually spit out was a small shad, and it wasn't much bigger than that. So I'm going to get the boat turned around, work with the wind, and fish this shady area. I'm going to fish out of the sun now. Now that we first started today, it was cloudy and overcast and drizzly. But what's happened now is the sun's come out. And what that's going to do, and you need to remember that, guys, is that what that's going to do when the sun comes out, it's going to drive them fish deeper, or it's going to drive them into the shadows, underneath docks, underneath trees, and underneath structure. So change what you're doing, because when the weather changes, the fish are going to change. If it gets bright sunlight out, the fish are going to change. If it gets cloudy out, the fish are going to change. So just remember that. They're not going to stay biting on the same bite every day the same way. This portion of Carolina Outdoor Adventures TV is brought to you in part by Catch 'em Up Baits, field staff tested, pro staff proven, by Buckbuster Scents, scents for the serious hunter, Quail Hollow Bird Farm, and also by Tolliver's Guide Service, specializing in trout fishing in Boone, North Carolina. Another one, all running about the same size. I had a big one over there that I rolled over a while back, looked to be about 3 or 4 pounds, but I didn't set the hook on him good enough with this light rod. Another 1.5 pound spot. Hit it right over there in the shade. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Come on up here, boy. Hold still. I'm gonna let you go. There we go. He's been feeding big time there. His belly's fat. But this ain't nothing to write home about, that's for sure. But we're still catching them. Still doing the same thing. Getting a few here, getting a few there. I'm trying to stay out of the sun and hit the shady areas, and that's where they seem to be. And they just seem to be in them shady areas. Keep pecking away at it. Maybe we'll get a few good ones in between some of them small ones we've been catching, but ain't a whole lot we can do about that. Just having to kind of take whatever's going to jump on our bait. So you guys know how that is. This is a big one right here. I don't know, this might be a largemouth. This is a nice one. Been kind of waiting for him all day. There we go. Stay on there so I can show the folks that I can catch a big fish now and then. Yeah. There, I can catch a big one now and then. Sure can. Come on out of there. Well, I'll let you go if you give me my darn bait back. There we go. Alright. Not a bad one. Maybe 2 pound, 2.5 pound fish. He hammered away at it. What we've done is I've moved away over here what I've done is I've moved away here in the shade. First of all, it's about 4 o'clock. Sun's going down. It's really hot on the other side of this island. I have fished this island many times down here on Lake Norman and always done good for spots and largemouth. Basically, I've done really good for spots around this island. It's rocky, got a lot of structure, and they just seem to like it. Deep water right here. You got the old river channel, and it comes up quick and gets in the shallows. It's got a lot of bait and a lot of structure. But so most of the time fish, when it gets bright and the sun gets really bright out, and the heat of the day, they come out and they work out here, and they get out in they leave the sunny area and they come out here and they get out in the shady areas. So that's what's happening right now. Most of these fish are getting in the shady areas. I'm trying to capitalize on it, try to catch a few fish. There he is, racing to the boat. That's a good fish. long as you don't horse them too bad, you can get these fish on these little light rods. There's another fish right behind him, chasing him around, trying to steal his bait. Come on. But you know, as long as you don't force them around too bad, you can get them. All right, there we go. Pretty fish. Really nice colors. The colors really show up good on him. Nice vibrant green colors and white. And I changed to that black and white paddle tail, and as you can see, it's working. I think it's working better than the white one because it's getting a little dark right now, and you've got that dark streak on the top, and that's just kind of making it a little bit better for the fish to see it in the water. You know, as the water gets darker, you want to make your baits a little darker. It doesn't sound like that's what you should be doing, but that's the way it seems to work in the fish world. Their eyes just seem to see better if you've got a darker bait. That kind of goes along with the amount of daylight that's penetrating the water. Come on. Another small one. Well, come on. They seem to be liking that black and white jig, that black and white swim bait. These swim baits are only about 2.5 inches long. They aren't very big, but it must be matching the size shad that are out there right now. But that seems to be what they're wanting to take. If you've noticed what I'm doing, whoa, come on back here. That's going to be a keeper fish. What I've done is I've turned around down there where the geese were and came right back up the same place. So let that be something too that you guys can learn. It don't, just because you fish one area, if it's been 15 to 20 minutes since you've got to the end of it, always come back, because the fish are going to work their way. They're going to work their way in and out of these areas, okay? Because I know that the river channel behind me, the old river channel is right here behind me, and it's deep water. It's 30, 40, 50 feet, and a lot of them bass are going to work their way, especially this time of the year, out of that deep water. And now that it's shady over here, they're going to come up and they're going to feed on shad, because now the shad are going to start coming up. So the predator fish are going to follow. But working an area like this, I went down to where them geese were, I turned around, I came back, and it's probably been a half hour since I've been to this area, and I've already caught and had hits off from 3 different fish in this one area. And I haven't changed, there he is, I haven't changed anything what I'm doing at all. Except for the fact that I did put a little bit darker color bait on. Come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on. That's a large one. And these aren't monsters. They're not, you know, big giant monsters by any means, but they're nice fish. We're having a good time doing it, and I intentionally came out fishing for one species and just decided that wasn't going to work today. So I switched over with what I had, and I've been catching spots all day long. Now, granted, guys, I'm a little embarrassed on some of them fish that I've caught, but I've been catching fish on this technique all day long. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in to today's show. I hope you enjoyed watching it as much as we did bringing it to you. And them little swim baits that you've seen us fish with, if you think you'd like to try some little baits like that, they work really good for crappies. And as you can see, they were working real good for spotted bass. I can't wait to take them up and try them on some smallmouth. So if you'd like to get hold of some baits like that, you can go to the Carolina Outdoor Hunting and Fishing Supply webpage. or on our Facebook page right there. We carry some of the products on there, and you can check out them swim baits and get you some right there. But anyways, we appreciate you tuning in to today's show. We had a blast out there fishing. We didn't quite go out and get what we intended on going to fish for, but as many of you know, it doesn't happen like that all the time. Some days you go out and you don't catch a thing, but at least we were able to turn the day around and film a show and catch some fish and have a good time doing it. So thanks for tuning in. We're glad you took the time to watch us today. And like always, I'm Jim from Carolina Outdoor Magazine TV. We'll catch you somewhere next week in the great outdoors when we do it all again. Thanks for watching.